Okay, we are on to episode 5 of my December 10. So this episode I've titled Spiritual Snob to Curious Cat. Now, the reason I chose that, I'm very fond of the term spiritual snob. And I've come across it a lot, and I have been the snob. Let me talk a little bit about that and what I mean by that. So if you've listened to the past 4 of this series, I've been telling you a little bit about my story and different aspects of my story and the journey that I've been on to become sort of who I am today. And there was a lot of searching in different places, and inevitably part of that search led me to church, because always looking for, okay, well, what's my purpose? Is there more to life than what I've been dealt? Those kinds of searches often lead people to search for a belief in something. When you have no or very little belief in yourself, then you will look for belief in someone or something else, won't you? And that's exactly what I did. And so, and once I joined the church, and remember at this point though, I was still very much, the belief I did have was that my job was to play roles, to be whatever it was that I was meant to be in order to be accepted and liked in the environment I was in. So when I went into a church environment, I was the best little Christian girl you'd come across. I learned how to adapt. I learned what they wanted from me. I learned how they wanted me to act. I learned how to be funny and keep it, church G-rated. Things like that. Now, what I'm getting at in regards to being a spiritual snob is that as I learned these things and became accepted, then what I started to see is how in various religions, however the one I was in, it was all about not judging people. And yet if you didn't do it their way, then you were judged. We don't judge anyone as long as you're doing life our way. And so you tend to stick together, don't you? And not branch out and cross paths with other people. You lose that, or you deny that idea that everyone you meet can teach you something. You tend to put yourself on a higher level of where you can only play the part of the teacher, instead of realizing that the real growth in any endeavor is understanding that you are always a student and a teacher at the same time. Now, I'm not religion bashing here, because this same sort of feeling, phenomenon, whatever you want to call it, happened no matter what sort of area I went into. I've said previously that I became a Reiki master. I was an Orasoma practitioner. I worked in color therapy. So I went into all these different kind of spiritual endeavors as well. And I would come across a lot of people that once they aligned with something that they felt, yes, this feels right to me, this feels like a truth I can get on board with, as soon as someone else wasn't on board with that truth, the judgment comes out again. And so I sort of see, spirituality and religion can all be the same thing if there is still this undercurrent that one love, as long as it's our love. And I came across it a lot, and I fell victim to it as well. When I went into sort of the Orasoma world and into the color therapy world, the crystal world, the aromatherapy world, all those different worlds that I immersed myself in and learned, I thought, yeah, you know what, this is I'm onto something here. And so then you, again, stick with your group, your like-minded people. And whether you admit it or not, you start to become judgmental of people who are not in that world, or who don't agree with it, or who run from it, or who quit from it. Regardless of which way they run, if they're not in it with you, then the problem is them. And that's, and I've seen it in a lot of spiritual worlds that I've been in as well, and come across, various different spiritual teachers and mentors and things that will write someone off, and yet the language they'll use is they'll say, with love, because they're not ready. And yet, not ready for what? Do you see how that language is still putting ourselves at a higher level? And yet what I learned, and where the curious cat part comes in, is I started to realize through my own judgment, judging myself and judging other people around me, is that no one's got it right, in my opinion. We're all just bloody trying to figure this shit out. And what if the key is to take a little bit of everything that you learn and mold that together in a shape that's uniquely you? What if that's the key? And we're going to miss out on that if we write off what someone else believes. Just because someone else believes in it, I realize it doesn't mean I have to believe in it. I also do not have to dismiss it. What I can do is be curious about it. And look at how it affects me. Look at how it affects them. Look at where the control comes from within that belief system. Is it external to them, or is it an internal control? And does it provide more choice, or does it limit choice? Those sorts of questions can, they really started to lead me down a path of, as I called it before, really led me down a path of wanting to be a student of life, a student of human nature, and find out more about what makes me tick, and then secondary to that, what makes other people tick as well. And so I learned to let go of this belief system of spirituality. What is spirituality? Everything only has the meaning we give it, right? And so where I've come to now is that at this minute, I'm not sure that I believe in any one thing. I believe perhaps that there's so much more that I don't know compared to what I do know. And the more that I know, the less I realize I know. So I become curious about things instead of boxing myself or other people into well, they believe that, so that makes them this. You believe that, so that makes you that. Rather than pigeonholing people, which is, as a society, as a world, as a species, it's what we've done for so long, is put people in classifications to make it easier for us to navigate how to communicate and how to handle people. And yet there is so much more freedom in taking the restrictions of the box away, and perhaps starting to merge and make a bit of a melting pot of all these various ideas of what is outside of ourselves. However, to really embrace something bigger than us, I truly feel that the secret to that is truly embracing what is within us first. And so that's where I'm at the moment. And that's how I sort of went from being a spiritual snob, where I thought I had it all figured out, and you're just not there yet. You're not at my vibrational level. How I got from there to letting go of the levels and actually just embracing that every single person I meet is my teacher and my student, and that includes me. I trust you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is day 6, and it will be punching bag to power projector. I'll see you then. Bye.